needs to be level.
How difficult is it when you do an uphill start?
Well, the bike wants to wheelie a little bit more, so you got to lean forward a little bit, and it doesn't change that much. It just really is an advantage for the guys that have more horsepower.
Well, you had to look at Mike Kiedrowski. He won last week at Millville without winning a moto. He went 2 and 3, and we will be back with the start of Moto 1 right after this. Welcome back to Washougal, Washington, Washougal Motocross Park. 6 motos left in the 1995 season, and Damon Bradshaw needs to get it done.
He's going to need some better luck and a good start here today to get it done.
I tell you what, like you said, he's had the terriblest luck. There they go up the hill, and it looks like Bradshaw is getting out in front early, and Kiedrowski also involved. But hey, wait a minute. Look at that. Jeremy McGrath, Jeff Emig, the 2 guys battling for the points championship, are 1-2 right now.
Well, it's tricky as you come over the top of that hill. You want to try to hold it tight. They did that. Bradshaw drifted wide, and now they're leading it.
Jeremy McGrath out in front, being pressured by Jeff Emig. Emig needs to get out and win both motos and hope that something not too bad, but a bad finish, we might say, could happen to Jeremy McGrath. And man, they are really going at it. It looks like Emig has a slight advantage as they come through the whoops, but Jeremy sets up for that left turn on the inside. We'll have to wait and see when our next camera shot picks them up. And look at that, they are still side by side, but Jeff Emig finally gets an advantage and moves into the top spot.
Finally, that's exciting. They were side by side since they left the starting gate, and Jeff Emig, he knows he's got to get something going right here, closing on that points lead, and he's doing the right thing here.
Well, Emig has to get out front and stay out front and keep Jeremy McGrath behind. Oh, there's a problem. A couple of riders down, and look at that. It's Kiedrowski and, I believe, Damon Bradshaw.
There's a huge rock laying there in the racetrack, too. I don't know if that caused a problem or not, but they got their bikes stuck together.
And it's going to take some time, and look at the log jam it's created. A lot of riders coming through, and Art Ekman is down in the pit area. And Art, got more on this?
John, the word here in the pits is that a large rock was dislodged from a wall burn. Kiedrowski hit that big boulder, and then Bradshaw ran into Kiedrowski, putting 2 big names toward the back of the pack in this one.
Man, Kiedrowski, who won the overall last week, is now in dead last, 40th place, and he has got a lot of making up to do. Meanwhile, back up front, Jeff Emig still leading Jeremy McGrath. And David, you got to believe that this is going to be a really good battle. But looking back in the 3rd spot, you see Kyle Lewis in number 21. That's Larry Brooks who's making his return. But there is a rider missing, and Art has more on that.
Gentlemen, here in the Yamaha camp, and we've got a big disappointment. John Dowd unable to ride. And John, what's the problem?
I separated my shoulder Thursday after practice. I was doing some mountain biking, just, you know, trying to do a little exercise and a little training to stay in shape for the race here, and I just managed to fall off and hit the ground the wrong way, I guess. And we kind of decided I should probably sit this one out because we got 2 weeks off after this, and I'd much rather come back for Binghamton healthy than go out here and chance hurting it again and not really be able to ride 100% anyway. So
good luck in getting back on the bike, John.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Okay, back to the booth.
All right, thank you, Art. Back up front, Jeff Emig continues to lead Jeremy McGrath. Emig would like to win his 2nd overall victory of the year. And speaking of Emig, let's check into his pits.
Well, Steve, Jeff told us that he was going to waste no time in being aggressive, and he certainly did here.
Yeah, that was his whole plan, was to be fast enough to pull away and just take a couple of overalls. And I was kind of hoping that there'd be some guys back there to get amongst them, but Damon and Mike Kiedrowski looks like they had come together. So I don't think there's anyone else there right now.
Well, the important thing is just to look ahead then.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like he's pulling a bit of a lead already, and it's early in the race, so we'll see.
Well, John, I can't help but remember last week when Jeremy got passed by LaRocco and just sort of rode around, didn't look like he even cared. Well, you know, I mentioned already today that he doesn't have to challenge Emig right here. He can pretty much just take it easy, and it's unfortunate because I want to see these 2 guys battle, but Jeremy doesn't want anything to do with it.
Hey, I tell you what, he's thinking championship right now. 6 motos left. After this one, only 5. And he's got, I don't want to say stroking it, but I don't think he's going to take any unnecessary chances.
No, he won't. That's kind of a bummer for Emig. I mean, it's good that he can go out and win, but, you know, he wants to, I think, win fair and square, and he's always going to be wondering how hard was Jeremy trying.
Well, now let's look back at the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Kyle Lewis has 3rd. That's Larry Brooks making his return after having some wrist surgery earlier on. And look at Larry Ward. He's coming up trying to take that 4th spot, and Brooks, in fact, looked over at him.
Well, I think Brooks could hear that Larry Ward was on the right side of that whoop section, pinned wide open. He just carried the front wheel over all those, used that long, lanky frame he's got to get through there fast.
Well, Brooks, after coming back from some serious surgery on his right wrist, says he's feeling really good, almost 100%, and he's showing it right now. Got off to a really good start, but he has now dropped back into the 5th spot. We're in the early stages of Moto number 1 as you get a look at the top 10 on our Suzuki Field Summary. Up front, Jeff Emig has built up a pretty good lead, but look at the battle for 3rd place. Kyle Lewis trying to hold off Larry Ward. Team Nolene Sizzler Yamaha in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, David.
And these guys definitely looking good, and I think it's partially because most of the factory guys aren't here today. I mean, everybody's out with an injury or something, and now Bradshaw and Kiedrowski in the back of the pack, so it really gives these guys a great opportunity to run up front. They have, but they haven't been able to stay there. Larry Ward's had a disappointing outdoor season, and right here he looks strong.
Well, that whole team looking strong right now. Here's Art Ekman.
Clark, it's good to see all 3 Nolenes up there battling it out, that's for sure. Good starts, but it's even more fantastic to see Larry Brooks on the track.
Yeah, it sure is. After he had what they call the compartment syndrome to his arm, it mashed his arm. They had to cut it open on both sides to relieve pressure, so that what happens is it swells up, the swelling comes in and closes up the main artery, and you can lose your arm. So they had to cut it wide open, let it stay open for about 2 weeks before they sewed it back up, and now he's back out there.
Oh, it's an amazing fact that he kept that arm and is on the track right now. Thanks a lot, Clark.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Art. You know, David, I had no idea it was that serious. I was just told it was an injury. He had the surgery. I had no idea it was that serious. Neither
did I. I thought it was just sort of a routine deal. I mean, Larry's had his share of injuries during his career, and he's able to overcome them all, and I guess this is really no different, but I'm glad to see him back out there.
Oh, yeah, it's great to see him back out there. The fans really enjoy having him back out there, and they're enjoying a great battle for 3rd place between the Nolene Sizzler Yamaha teammates, Kyle Lewis, and right behind him is Larry Ward. Actually, it looks like Lewis has put just a little bit of distance on Larry Ward.
Well, I think Larry's probably pretty patient. I don't think that he can even see McGrath up there in 2nd place, and I think he knows he can get around his teammate, or he feels confident, and I think that's why he's dropped back a little bit, just to dodge that roost and regroup, try to find somewhere else to pass.
Now back to the battle for 5th place. There's Todd DeHoop trying to come up on Cliff Palmer, and they are closing in on Larry Brooks.
Well, I would imagine, John, all that recovery time for Larry and then the problems with his arm, he's not going to be very fit here today. The one thing he does have to his advantage, though, is that this track, like I mentioned, doesn't get that rough, so he should be able to go the distance.
You know, it seems like all year long we've been talking about guys who, well, he's had a lot of off time. They had a lot of injuries this year on this series, haven't they?
Yeah, the attrition rate has been pretty brutal, and I was just thinking about it. There's only 3 guys in this entire race that have a 1-digit number on their plate.
Whoa. Look at Cliff Palmer trying on the inside, but he just doesn't get the bite to get around Larry Brooks. Todd DeHoop now coming along, and I believe that's Doug Boynton, who's also coming up on this battle.
Phil Lawrence at the very tail end. This is a good battle, and I think it's just going to get better.
It's the best battle out on the track right now. Jeff Emig, don't want to forget this, he is your leader. Jeremy McGrath is 2nd, but Emig has pulled out in front by quite a bit. Look at Todd DeHoop get around Cliff Palmer as they go into that turn.
Yeah, Todd doesn't look very patient right now, and he's a muscler. He'll get in and mix it up, and he did. He muscled his way past Palmer, and I think he's probably going to do the same thing past Brooks, although Brooks, pretty tough to pass. I don't care if he's tired, he's healthy or not, if he's riding good or bad, he's still tough to pass.
Is he good at making that bike awfully wide?
Well, he's been riding a long time. He was an excellent mini bike rider. I've talked about this before. I mean, he's no stranger to riding fast on a motocross track, and he just knows where to go to make it difficult for everyone else.
Right now he holds on to that 5th spot. Todd DeHoop has moved into 6th. Cliff Palmer is 7th. Doug Boynton is 8th, and factory Phil Lawrence has moved into the 9th spot. That's a nice looking shot right there. You can see the riders fly over you.
It's one of the faster jumps. I know that when I used to race here, it's kind of deceiving because as you head up to it, you think you're pretty much in the middle of the racetrack, and as you get into the air, you realize that you're way to the left. And I remember in practice once I jumped actually over the banners, landed out in the grass, and it was pretty scary. So you gotta pitch the bike. A lot of guys towards the end of the race start getting a little bit loose there, styling it for the fans. It's a great jump to do that.
Well, DeHoop right now is closing in as he tries to set his sights on Larry Brooks. Remember, DeHoop missed a couple of motos earlier in the year with a knee injury, and then at Troy he also had a couple of crashes and got up walking gingerly with that knee, but he's back out there at it, so nothing serious for him. But he's another one of the guys who's been banged up this year.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. A lot of riders having a tough season in terms of injuries. And, you know, as I looked at this 250 National Series at Gainesville, when it first started, I thought this is the best season ever for talent. I mean, it's just stacked. I thought it would be so close. It'd be really tough for somebody to finally emerge a winner of each race, let alone the championship. And everyone's gotten hurt and broken down. And now we're watching a battle. It kind of looks like the Las Vegas Supercross, and most of the pros didn't show up to the main event. We're looking at a lot of privateers. Nothing against these guys. They're riding good, and they're going fast, but Jeremy and Jeff Emig in a league all their own.
Well, Kyle Lewis, who's trying to hold off Larry Ward. Larry Ward had that great Supercross season, finishing second behind Jeremy McGrath. Now he's going to try the outside line, but no, Lewis gets in that rut, which was the favored line around that turn, and comes back out on that third spot in front of his teammate.
Well, he'll remember that the next time they get to that section, too. Larry's going to have to find somewhere else to make his moves. You see, he's just trying to take a different line everywhere, and because this track doesn't get very rough, it makes it tough to pass. And sometimes you get a privateer who gets a good start, not so much these guys, but a privateer we're not used to seeing. And he can go very fast on a racetrack like this, where it just takes a lot of speed and a little bit of guts, and just carrying a lot more momentum.
Right now, the momentum belongs to Jeff Emig, who's up in front. He is just rolling away. And look, he gets the pass, the go ahead and go by Kyle Lewis telling Larry Ward.
That was kind of interesting. It looked like Kyle was fiddling with something. He still is. He's fiddling some by his clutch lever or kill button. I'm not sure what it is, but sometimes I thought maybe he was just getting nervous and his arms were getting pumped up. You get a guy behind you that's riding a lot faster than you are, and we're going to get another look. He's waving him by right here, it looks like. But maybe he's just trying to stay out of his way and let Larry keep a good pace. They are teammates and not mess him up. Right there, you see he's reaching for something. I don't know what it is. Maybe sometimes you can let some adjustment out of your clutch so it doesn't slip. That's all I can figure.
Well, there's a look at the top 10 on your Suzuki Field Summary. Emig continues to lead. Back at Washougal, Washington, Art Ekman down in the pits, David Bailey and John Kernan up top, and Kyle Lewis, after that problem, we saw him wave his teammate Larry Ward by, is in fourth place, and he's in danger of losing that. Yeah,
he's got a pack of riders catching him. As he went around that corner right when we came back from the break, he was still adjusting something on there. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe he's trying to loosen up the adjustment of his clutch. That's all. And put more play in it, and then it won't slip. But look at this group of riders. I mean, they don't have any problems. They're moving on, and they've caught him quick.
It'll soon be a battle for fourth place as Kyle Lewis is riding along in that, but right behind him is Todd DeHoop, and then comes James Dobb on the number 16 Honda of Troy bike. And we finally see some of the Red Rider guys, I guess you might say.
Well, it looked like it was 4 Yamahas in the top 5 there for a while, and I guess, you know, with the absence of Albertine and LaRocco and Henry, a lot of guys, I mean, that makes that possible. But now you got a Suzuki and a Honda of Troy, and DeHoop going past
Larry Brooks there. And actually, James Dobb has already gotten, but there's a little bit of a problem right there. James Dobb had already gotten around Todd DeHoop. And Dobb now is setting his sights on Kyle Lewis, trying to get around him and move into the fourth spot.
Well, Kyle seems to have ironed out whatever problem he had. He's back up to speed. I don't see him reaching for that lever anymore. And he was remember, he ran third for a while, and he had a pretty fast pace. Ward was close to him, but it appeared that Larry wasn't really much faster until Kyle started fiddling with whatever that was that he had a problem with. And now seems like he's going back to the same pace he had before.
I got to believe your observation's right, messing with the clutch adjustment. But look how far they have pulled away from that other pack. As you see DeHoop coming in there to come into the whoop section, they're a good 2-3 seconds ahead.
Well, DeHoop looked strong there for a while. I mean, it looked like he was the strongest one in that pack when Brooks was leading it, but now it appears that, like I said, Lewis has picked up the pace, and Dobb had caught those guys and passed them all, and he was running a faster pace. Lewis figured that out and said, well, I don't want him to pass me, so now they're both jamming.
Jamming they are as Dobb tries an outside move on that turn. He's really putting the heat on Kyle Lewis. We'll just see how long Kyle Lewis can withstand this charge. But there's James Dobb running around trying to go on the outside. Does he have it this time? Not quite. Maybe I spoke too soon as you saw Kyle Lewis have a little bit of a problem there, but a good recovery by Kyle. But Dobb swings right back in side by side. And look, Kyle looks over and sees Dobb, and Dobb takes over that 4th spot.
Well, he not only took it over, but he completely moved across the racetrack right in front of Lewis. Lewis had to actually slow down a little bit and move back to the other side to have some racing room, and you can afford to do that. It wasn't anything dirty. He just wanted to make sure that Lewis wasn't going to make a run at him on that left-hander on the inside. Oh, Mike Kiedrowski's down.
Oh, man, again, Kiedrowski, who tangled with Damon Bradshaw when they ran into that rock right after the start, dropped all the way back to 40th, has worked his way up into the top 10, currently running 9th, and even with that spill there, he's not going to lose his spot.
Well, I think he gets the crash award for this year. Mike has crashed more than anybody I can think of. Brooks, I think, used to hold that title, but now he didn't lose his spot when he fell. And as I looked up in front of the race on the racetrack ahead of him, there was nobody there. There was nobody behind him, so he's pretty much just worked his way into the boring zone, I guess. There's no one to pass and no one to challenge, so it's a pretty frustrating day so far for Mike.
Well, there's Larry Brooks, looks over his shoulder at Doug Boynton. Cliff Palmer is right in there also. This is a great battle back in the second 5 of the top 10, I guess you could call it.
Well, Doug Boynton having a good run right here. He normally runs around maybe 15th, somewhere in there. I mean, he's run up front before and with good starts, but he typically drops back a little ways. And right here, this has got to be pretty exciting for him to run up here and be in a battle inside the top 10, and might give him a little confidence.
You know, David, with all of the big guys out, it seems like, or a lot of them, how important is it for these privateer guys to have good runs?
Well, it's crucial because now they don't have any excuses. They have to run up front. There's no one to, none of the factory guys to beat them.
As you take a look at the top 10 on our Suzuki Field Summary, Jeff Emig is the leader, back with the finish after this. Back at Washougal, a battle shaping up for 3rd as we get set to throw the checkered flag. And look at James Dobb, zips around Larry Ward and takes over that 3rd spot. Dobb, I'm really impressed with the charge he's made. He came out of practically nowhere and has moved up into 3rd.
Yeah, he's had a good ride. And, Larry, I think they drag raced down that ski jump and into that corner, and Dobb pushed Larry a little bit harder than he was comfortable with, and Larry just couldn't hold that inside line, and so that was a smart move.
Well, right now, James Dobb has got his radar set out for Jeremy McGrath, who holds down the 2nd spot. But I think McGrath's so far out in front, the radar wouldn't even show it right now, huh?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's in a different time zone. And speaking of different time zone, I think Emig's in one of all his own as well. Emig's got about a 15, 20-second lead right here, and Jeremy still looks pretty aggressive. So I don't know what the story is, but Emig is definitely taking it to him.
We are on the final lap as Jeremy McGrath. He's got to be sad. I can't expect him to do anything stupid here on the final lap to try and catch Emig. In fact, if Dobb gets close to him, he might even let Dobb go around him. But I don't think Dobb's going to catch him, and I don't think McGrath has any hope of catching Emig, nor is he that concerned with it at this point of the season, is he?
No, it's his first outdoor title, and that's all he's thinking about, and he knows he's got to go out and just finish all the laps, and stay out of trouble, and he's done that today.
Well, Jeff Emig right now is on his way to a Moto victory. It's been a while. Remember, Emig was so close there in the points. You see him, that little fist waving in the air. He was so close in the points until about 5 motos ago, and then he's had some bad luck. But now he's come back today with a vengeance to win this first moto. Unless he drops the bike somewhere out there on the track, he's going to win in quite convincing fashion. Look at that.
That's that jump I was talking about, and Emig's perfect for that. He can pass up the front end with that rear tire. He's good at styling it, and a crowd favorite.
Well, it looks like he's going to pick up 3 points on Jeremy McGrath, and I hate this. I mean, I realize after this there are 5 motos left. Anything can happen, but it might be too little too late.
Well, this is all he can do. I mean, the title is pretty much a prayer right now. It's not impossible. It could happen, but it's not that likely. And for him, all he can really do to salvage out the season is just to continue to win motos and hopefully put together a couple overalls before the season's over.
Right now, he is just a few feet away from wrapping up the win in Moto number 1. Remember, Emig picked up his first overall outdoor victory in the National 250 Series at Southwick, and now he will add this one, his second of his career, as he looks back to watch Jeremy McGrath, who will come across the line in 2nd place with a nice, easy ride for Jeremy.
Probably didn't even work up a sweat. He rode most of the moto like that.
That's the way I used to ride, except I finished last all the time when I did that. But, hey, what a year Jeremy McGrath is having, and you know, all that off-season conditioning, during season conditioning has really paid off. The Supercross title and on his way to his first outdoor title. But in Moto number 1 here, Jeff Emig comes away with the win. James Dobb, Larry Ward, and Kyle Lewis round out the top 5, and a good ride for Doug Boyson. He finished 8th. Let's check in with Art Ekman.